What's up, everybody? We are back. We're ready to roll. And we have something exciting to talk about. But this is what I want to say first. I feel like this time of year is when everybody just starts bullying each other for dropping off on their New Year's goals. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's saying it to each other.
Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day, the second
Friday of every year. Yeah.
Which we're past. So that means
We've
a lot
made
of
it.
people have already quit. Yeah, if you're still going, you're going strong. But
I on
Yes, you might have
everything.
quit
I
then.
unironically that was the first day I stopped doing my New Year's resolution, but then I started again the next day. So,
Well,
I'm
okay,
back.
this is the revamp day right here because this is what I believe about goals. I think one of the best ways to accomplish goals is to make them as visible as possible.
Yeah.
And what I mean is like, don't just write it in one little spot. Put it in spots that you're going to see it. Put it in spots that you're going to remember it, because the more that you see it, the more that it's in your mind, I think the more probable it is that you're actually going to accomplish the goal. You know what I mean?
That's a really cool thought.
And so something that Good News Brand put together is the youth theme bundle. It's all based off the youth theme this year, Doctrine and Covenants 636. And it's 4 different things that all come together in one package. And the whole goal is to help this theme not just be a theme, but help it be something that is constantly in your mind, because that's when it's really going to affect you. So it comes with, number 1, a decal. This says, doubt not, fear not. Beautiful. Throw that on your mirror. You see it every morning when you brush your teeth.
Second one is the bracelet. I think my favorite, just wearing something you can look at every single day with the verse that is the youth theme on the bracelet so you can memorize it.
And I like the color on that one. It is a good color.
This blue is crazy.
And that's perfect. It's funny that I feel like all of us got something that we're really passionate about, because Talon's really serious about like putting things on his mirror.
I am. I love it.
You have things all over your house. And Hollis, of course, is loving the bracelet. He said that's his favorite. Listen, this is my favorite, and I'm not kidding you. I forgot that it was my favorite until this week. I was looking through it and I was like, wait, holy cow. I think this might be one of my favorite things we've ever worked on. Like when I was looking through it, this is one of the things that I'm the most proud of, because I can see the potential of what this could do in an everyday life of like going through every single day. It's a little tear pad. You flip through it all year and it just gives you something new to look for him in your life every single week, which I think is so cool and so important.
And the thing I'm passionate about is lanyards. No, for real, this is nice though. Yeah, get a little lanyard, put the keys. I mean, you're always using your keys, for your car and stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
every time you turn on your car, hey, doubt not, let's go.
We gave you that because you're
When
really
you go
good
to the
driver.
grocery store, doubt not, fear
Yeah.
not, baby, let's go.
It's so true. So number 1, we hope whatever your goals are, just make them visible, put them everywhere. This is something that I think can really help you do that. But if you don't get this, find other ways to just make your goals as visible as possible.
100%. Welcome to This is Kingdom. This is Grace.
This is Talon.
This is TJ.
This is Hollis. And this week we are going over the talk Burying Our Weapons of Rebellion by Elder Todd, Christofferson.
And while I was reading this talk, I thought of something that I read in the most random book years ago, but I've never forgot it because I've always loved this little story. And what it was talking about is, I don't remember where they do this, but they were talking about how they catch monkeys. And what they do is they'll get a little box and they'll put dried fruit in it, because in this area, the monkeys love dried fruit. And they'll put a hole in the box that's just big enough for the monkey to reach its hand in. But the hole is small enough that once they grab the fruit, their hand's too big to pull it out. And so the crazy thing is, all the monkey has to do to get out is let go of that dried fruit. Then it's gone. But what normally happens is the monkey will hold on to that so tight, and the person will come up and literally put a rope around it, and then that monkey's captured. And every time I read this story, I was like, man, that is so crazy. But what's crazier is that we have so many things like that in our life that I think we just hold on to so tight that we think, no, I want this so bad, instead of being willing to just let go of those things and get something so much better.
Well, it's interesting because last month I was teaching seminary and we were talking in my class, and I like casually was like, I want to get rid of my iPhone. Like, I want to get a flip phone. And everyone in my class was like, you could never. And then I like started listing the reasons why I want to. And I was like, no, like I want to like not care about find friends. Like, I don't want to care where all my friends are, and I don't want them to know where I am. Like, I just want to live my life without the expectations of other people. And I actually don't want to spend as much time as I am on social media. And I also don't want to care like how quickly I'm responding to people and feel obligated to like be always on my phone, always within reach, always like needing to respond to something. And I made all these lists of all the reasons that I wanted to get rid of my phone and like the reasons why it was holding me back or trapping me. And they were really important reasons to me. Like they were actually things that I really cared about. But what happened in the class is everyone in the whole entire class was like, you could never. And then initially that made me want to do it more. Like I was like, no, I'm going to. I bought a flip phone on Amazon that second. Like I was like, okay, watch me. And I like bought it, but the phone wasn't gonna come for a few days, like the little flip. And within those, like that weekend, that was on a Friday, and I don't think it came until Monday. And within that entire weekend, I am not kidding you when I say I spent the majority of the weekend thinking of reasons why it wasn't gonna work out, reasons why I shouldn't let go. And they were good reasons. Like I could have listed you really serious things, and I could have talked about work, and I could have talked about, oh, like keeping up with people that I don't normally talk to. I could have talked about convenience. I could have talked about not having Google Maps. I could have talked about not having an alarm on my phone. Like I could have listed you really good reasons not to let go of it. And to be 100% honest, the only reason I still did is because I wanted to prove people wrong. Like it had nothing to do with the outcome. But what I started realizing is that was honestly my reason of actually letting go. But what I started thinking, and ever since talking to people, because now everyone sees my flip phone and they're like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. And then I say, okay, do it then. And the first thing they start doing is telling me why they can't. And they're like, no, I can't because of this and this and this and this. And then I'm like, and every time I look at them and I'm like, no, you actually can. Do you realize that? You really can. And it would change your life. I fully believe that. And I actually don't think this is just about a flip phone anymore. I think this happens all of the time throughout every single thing we think in our life. We say, oh, I should get rid of that. I need to let go of that. I need to walk away from that. And initially, we have all of this motivation in the whole entire world. Those monkeys are like, yeah, like if they want to get free, they're going to have to let go. And then immediately after, I think we start making all of these reasons why we can't. Oh no, I can't because of this. I can't because of that. I can't let go of the fruit because if I like this is I really want it. I really want it. It's going really good for me. I don't want anyone else to have it. Like it's really easy to make excuses. And I think that there just has to come a point when you say no. Like this is not about any reason you can or any reason you can't. It's about you stopping and saying, I'm going to make the choice and do it.
And there's so many of those things in our life. I feel like I think of things we watch, things we listen to, things we say. I feel like sometimes what's so hard about letting that go or making that decision is it feels so safe not to. I'm so safe right now. I'm so comfortable right now. I feel like life is okay the way I'm living it right now. And I feel like that's so hard because we have no idea the promises and the blessings God is willing to give us when we let go of those things. I wish sometimes that we could just let God surprise us. We have no idea what's waiting on that other side when we make that decision, when we finally realize, you know what? I'm going to trust him. I'm going to trust him because if I do this, I know he can have some incredible things for me, but it takes that act of trust. It takes that act of knowing, you know what? I'm going to let him surprise me. I'm going to let him see what he can do in my life when I make a decision like that.
I think one of the scariest things about this and what really motivates me is these aren't just weapons of war that are having us rebel against God, but they're weapons of war that are rebelling against the purposes that God has for our life. And I think about the times in my life, the weapons that are most tempting for me, or I guess the weapons are most tempting for me to pick up when the purposes that God has put in my heart seem really big or really scary. And so when I'm in those opportunities where whether it's a mission or whether it's doing this new project that can help people or whether it's just progressing or leveling up my life in a certain way, at that point, those weapons of war, which maybe it could be a TV show or sometimes it's movies or sometimes it's scrolling. But the thing that is reminding me that like, no, I just want to send it. I just want to get the flip phone. I just want to go for what God has for me is realizing that until we put these weapons down, we can't fully progress and move into those paths that God has for us that's gonna bring us the most joy and the most purpose and to bring out that best version of ourselves.
Man, I'm just loving this because, first of all, I really think if anyone took 2 minutes to just pray and ask God. Say, God, what are things that I need to let go of in my life? What are things that are actually holding me back from the kind of life that you know that I can have? God will give you answers. It doesn't take long to get clarity on that. But what I'm loving about this conversation is we really do make so many excuses. I think we get those thoughts and then so many excuses come. I remember this time in high school that I just felt so just blah. Like I just was not feeling great. And I remember praying. I said, God, I want to feel happier. Can you help me? It's like, everyone's telling me to pray. I'll try this. And I remember after that, I had the thought so clearly, you need to listen to better music. And I had the thought, you need to have cleaner conversations with your friends. I had those two thoughts. Those were my weapons that I needed to let go of. And I remember I was like, yeah, I should. I totally should. And I didn't change a thing. And if I could go back and talk to myself, I would just want to say, like, the Spirit is better. Like, I feel that so strongly now. The Spirit is better than whatever you don't want to let go of. And so many times what we need to do to get the Spirit more into our lives is let go of the things that are blocking it or that are taking its space.
Well, and when I read that story of this group of people that had to bury their weapons of war, now that is already pretty unfamiliar to me because I've never been in a war, first of all. So that's like kind of a different story for me. But when I stop and really think about me in that situation, it would have been really easy for me to not want to do that. I could have made 1,500 excuses if I were them. Oh, well, I won't use it for murder. I will use it way less than I will use it way less than I used to. I will only use it in emergencies. I will only use it if I feel prompted to use it. I will only use it with your guidance, God. I will only unbury this if it's a 911 emergency. There are 18 million excuses I could have used if I was in that situation. And honestly, I probably would have. And in the moment, they just had to choose to look over the excuses and look at Jesus and say, you know what? I actually don't care about any excuse of why I'm not going to bury this or why I'm going to unbury it or why I'm going to just hide one extra sword in the back room. I am going to look at Jesus and say, okay, this is going to be really hard. And I don't know what this is going to look like. And I think it could be making my life significantly harder. But I'm going to trust you that this is going to work out. And what I love about that story is so many chapters later, what happens to those people? Because they bury their weapons of war and then war comes. And you, in that moment, should be like, wait, stop. You actually should get your weapons back out and you should fight. And they don't. And they still stick true. Maybe not because they trusted in their weapons, but maybe more so because they trusted in their God. And they said, we don't need these anymore because we've seen what God can do. We trust that when we let go of something, God will show up with something better. And he did. He showed up with a miracle of 2,000 stripling warriors that won a battle that no one thought they could win. And I think in the moments when you make excuses, stop making excuses of why you shouldn't let go and start making excuses of why you want God to fight your battles. He'll do it, and he'll do a way better job than you could.
I just hope I'm feeling so inspired from this conversation, and I hope that and I know that people listening, you're gonna have the Spirit whisper to you what you want to take and apply to the situation with your weapons of war. But just a few questions I hope everyone considers is, number one, what are those weapons of war that might be holding you back from experiencing these great things with God? What are the excuses maybe that are in your mind and in your heart that you could just pay attention to and figure out what's going on? And number three, what are those top reasons that you could look to God and look forward to those things that he has if we just let go? Choose the right when a choice is placed before you. In the right, the Holy Spirit guides, and its light is forever shining o'er you. When in the right, your heart confides. Choose the right, choose the right. Let wisdom mark the way before. In its light, choose the right, and God will bless you evermore.
See you next week.